So I remembered my shamanic abilities when in 2021, I'm sorry, 2001. And um, I think I had been working towards it all my life, but it was 2001. And in 2002, I did my first journey for someone else. And I remember so it was all brand new to me. That was a first. And I remember seeing a hole open in like a portal opening, and all of these faces looked down at me, and they said that they were here for me to support me. I didn't really know what that meant at first, so I just started to do shamanic journeys and learn what I needed to know and bring in information, divine guidance from other realms. And in 2008, I got a message that the wise ones wanted me to be their voice. And I did a live presentation on 8808 with the wise ones. And they they told me that they had been those beings that had looked down at me, that they had been with me all along, but that I was being taught how to bring forth the messages and interpret the energies correctly. So I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and I don't know, I can see, smell, taste, hear in other dimensions. So all of those skill sets were being brought back online, so to speak. And I was remembering those skills from, I've seen multiple lifetimes now as shamans, medicine woman, things on that nature. So I started to do the voice of the wise ones, and I was on this radio show, and they became very popular. And one night I'm there, this is about the 10th show out of 13, and the host was saying, okay, well, let Karen connect to the wise ones and I'll do my advertising. And I went to the other side. I always go to the other side where I meet God and Jesus and my team, and all of these 1,500 beings that I used to see, all shapes and sizes and colors and ages, and I greeted the leader of the team, and with that, he became light and dove into me. I'm like, and this is happening in the intermission. So, and I'm like, God, what's going on? What's going? You are they are that, you. And I'm freaking out because all this light's coming into me. I'm like, ah! It was almost like being shot with a laser. And the host comes in and says, wow, wise ones, are you here? And after the show, he called me and said, what the bleep happened before the show tonight? What? And I told him what happened. He said, I knew it was something major. So what I was told is that they were all my higher self aspects of all the lifetimes that I had lived on Earth. And the great news is that I stored my humor there. Thank God for that. I stored my humor, and now when I go into the wise ones, I go into a bank of light. It's just like I'm stepping into a room of light. And that's the energies. And I remember doing the expo at that church. It's the last expo I did with you, Greg. And and someone said, well, they raised their hand and they's like, how can I work with the wise ones? And they're like, ah, bad news, you can't. And I'm thinking, what? What did they just say? And they said, the great news is, the even better news is you have your own set of wise ones. You all have your own set of wise ones. And it's a matter of connecting to that higher self energy to, hey, Cameron, be nice. It's a matter of connecting to all that energy so that you can start to hear your own wisdom. And they guide people through that. And of course, they still bring forth really amazing wisdom. I did, so I have a website and I do a YouTube channel. So Karen Cressman, you can just go to Karen Cressman, Multiversal Shaman, and see all of my YouTube shows. In August, they did one for the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, which was a really, really wonderful piece of information. So you guys can go and see that whenever if you choose. So and I had a radio show for 7 years that I did the wise ones. I brought them forth and people ask questions, and then now the YouTube channel. So does that give enough background, Greg?
Yes, it sure does. That's perfect. So now that we have our background, let them in.
Let them in. We're going to go with the toning for Peace on the Planet. Hello, wise ones. Namaste, everyone. We are so happy to be here. Greg, we have missed you. We have missed these gatherings. We have missed being fun and zany and crazy and bringing forth all this wisdom and making you all laugh, because laughter gets you at the vibration that you can hear what we have to say. And that's why we always want Karen toning, because it gets you to the vibration that you need to be at to hear the messages that are coming through. So that's what we want you all to really know and understand, is the more that you align with your own vibration, the more that you can get to your I am presence, the center of your being, the more that you can hear your own wisdom and receive your own knowledge. And yes, Karen still goes out and listens to other beings and other people and other podcasts and other interpreters, because it's very important to understand what you're getting and compare it to other people. So there's always a different flavor. And that's one of the reasons that we wanted to bring forth information through her. And the reason she was trained so carefully to be interpreting the information, because there's many different ways that you can interpret information. There are those who channel, which Karen isn't. The channelers can step aside and let another being in. Karen's interpreting. She's with us right now, so that she is interpreting what's being said. And you may hear her question us and say, wait, what did you mean by that? Give me a different image on that. I don't know what to do with that. So as you grow and evolve in your own abilities, make sure that you understand who is coming through and make sure that you are accountable for the information, because you can hear information from all over. There's all kinds of energies out there. And we just had Karen get a distinction for herself that's very important for all of you as well. So she attended the Dr. Dispenza advanced course, and he trains people to go into the void, fifth dimensional void of consciousness. That's where all consciousness exists. Okay. Karen, in her shamanic work, plays in the quantum field. That's where she's working. And she's been taught very, very carefully how to know and distinguish what your duality energies are. Are they energies of light and love, or are they energies void of light and love? And you've got to know that distinction when you're working in those kind of environments. You really have to know those distinctions. Now, when you're in the void of fifth dimension, this is the distinction we just got for her. That is all consciousness. And in all consciousness, it's beyond light. It's beyond space and time. So in that energy, you are only in consciousness. There isn't duality. Therefore, you're working with the same energy of just pure consciousness to receive information and knowledge through. So as you grow and as you learn, because all of you are on your own spiritual path, as you evolve, know that if you go into 5D consciousness, if you go into the void where it's just darkness, black, all around you, you're just in infinite possibilities and potentials. That's where you go to manifest and create within. That is the safe zone, so to speak. You don't have to be traveling to spaceships and galaxies and interdimensional dimensions that Karen travels to get wisdom from other beings of consciousness in duality. Okay, so there's a big distinction for you, something that everyone needs to be aware of, especially in the world today. And as you grow and evolve, because all of you on this call are growing and evolving your own abilities. And that's what's really important to know. So let's move on and talk about, she mentioned the 8-8 portal. So you had the Lionsgate portal. And what we brought forth in that, and what's important to know, is you had a portal of energy that came in and opened up how do you guys want me to say this? I'm seeing like a window, but it was more than a window. It was like a door. It was a door. And the 8-8 wisdom is Lionsgate. And basically what we said is everyone was being challenged to look at any shadow self, any traumas, any triggers. Do you have emotions within you that are stuck or stopped? You want to be able to open those up and look at them and heal them and release them. What traumas are you dealing with? In releasing those, you release the triggers that are the attractor points for you. You are, okay, wise ones, I need help with the camera. Thanks. Thanks. Get that camera working. So you're releasing those triggers. And if you're not releasing those triggers and those traumas, it's going to be a lion roaring in your face. There's going to be people in your face just bringing them forward. Figure out what that trigger is, what that emotion is, and let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. We won't have Karen sing the song, but let it go. That's what is next for everyone to do. And then think about that on top of the 8-8 portal. Then you had the eclipses come in. So you had a lunar eclipse in the beginning of September on top of the 8-8. So you got a lion roaring in your face if you don't see things. And then you're getting spotlighted on top of a lion being in your face to really, really release those triggers. It is so critical, crucial, important for that. I see that I'm losing light here. You want to release anything that is in your field, because if you do not, everything is cellular memory. So if you've got any kind of pain bodies in your field, if you've got old emotions, if you've got anger or resentment towards anyone or anything, you want to have that energy released from your field, because it is law of attraction, it is an attraction point. You do not want to keep attracting that energy until you finally go, I've had enough. You want to get rid of it now. Okay. So that's really important to know. And then on top of that, you had the solar eclipse. Okay. So now you're being hammered to release what you need to release. And then you get the solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse was, okay, what are you going to give out? What are you going to? We're spotlighting the action steps of what you're doing to move forward. So what do you need to release? What do you need to move forward? These are the energies you came into October with. Yikes. Lot of energy to get you moving and get you flowing and get you into what is next and what you want to have come to you. That's kind of what's going on for everyone right now. So looking at that, you have October, which is your month of fall, where things start to quiet down. You are being asked to step inside to do a reset. October is about a reset as you go into the winter. You want to make sure that you finish out what August and September asked you to do. And you want to reset and walk into what is next for you. What it is that you need to, you want to do. What is it that you're looking to achieve? That's really, really important. I'm going to turn on a light, guys. Hold on. Okay, wise ones. Take it. So what you're looking at, what we were saying is you're looking at what's next for you. What's next for you? And if you haven't, you need to do it now. You need to do it now because you've got the next 3 months of this year to figure out who you want to be to move forward. That's really what this is about. Who do you want to be? What do you want in your world? Who do you want to become? Then we're sitting on the fence. That lion won't let you. That lion's going to be in your face. You do not want to be sitting on a fence. It will be gnawing at you. You want to know what's next, where to be in action. And again, we're going to go back to being. Karen's work is all about being, ontology. Who are you being that has the world show up around you? Because that's really the attracting point. Right? Now, we say that she's writing her book and all right, I'll explain it. So I'm writing a book called Divine Guidance from Love, How to Unconditionally Love You. And it is a story about, it's a self-empowerment journey to love who you are and who you are not. Because when you can love who you are not, you can more fully love who you already are. An amazing loving light consciousness that is one with everything. So one of the chapters that I've worked with, and it's funny because I wrote this in August, was trauma and how the traumas that I've been through and how to release those traumas, those childhood traumas that you go through. And I know that there's people, and you can agree to disagree with me, that say you create everything in your world. That is not my experience. You don't. There are 4 ways that you attract in the world. One is karma. What did you come in to heal? Because all that stuff and those obstacle courses and what you came in to work on is going to be an obstacle in your way until you handle it, deal with it, deal with those souls, deal with whatever came in. The second is cellular memory. There are people who have cellular memory that and it's funny because some people injure themselves at the same time. I can tell you a story of a friend who woke up one day and she couldn't walk. She could walk. The night before, she woke up, couldn't walk. 2 MRIs, no neurological reason that she couldn't walk. I did a journey for her. And at that age, exactly that age in a previous lifetime, she had been a slave and she had escaped, and she was the matriarch, the community, and to make an example, they cut off her feet. And she had to do the healing around that. She ended up living. They cauterized her legs and she had stubs, and the slave owner was scared to death of her after that and started treating everyone better. But that she had to complete the emotions around that. 3 months later, she was walking again, no problems. So that's cellular memory. That's the kind of stuff. And you hear people that they just all of a sudden a bone breaks or this happens or that happens, or there's cellular memory that we have. The wise ones used to say all the time, I remember in a radio show they had me doing, they showed me computers. And one computer was had a cowboy hat on it. The next computer had like a sailor hat. The next computer had leather on it, leather and belts, and it went on and on and on. And so it was like the computers were all costumed, and they said, basically your soul is the hard drive, the software that plugs into the computer. And each body is a biological form in each lifetime, but you're plugging in the files from your soul and the hard drive into that computer. So you have karma, you have cellular memory, and then you get to create with the quantum field. If karma and cellular memory aren't in the way, you get to co-create and plan what you want. And the fourth is duality. We live in a world of duality. There's good, bad, there's light, dark. I follow Dr. Edith Eva Eger. She's one of my mentors and teachers. And at 16, she was taken to Auschwitz. She was an Olympic Hungarian gymnastic competitor and a prima ballerina. And overnight, she was taken to Auschwitz. 6 months there, 5 worse camps. She was found in the death camp with a broken back, unable to walk, talk, move. Now, did she create that? I'll never believe it. I will never believe that those kind of people, Rwanda and all of those kind of things, they chose that for themselves. No, duality happens. People are victimized. It's who you become as a result. And this woman at 50 got her doctorate degree as a psychologist, and she specialized in working with veterans and helping them with PTSD. She forgave the Nazis. She felt that they were more enslaved than she was. She's amazing, amazing. Dr. Edith Eva Eger. If you want a life-changing book, read The Choice. Okay. So, all right, wise ones, take it back. Yes, we wanted Karen to share that because there are many ways. Look at your life and look at what's happened to you. And that's the purpose of her book. She shares the journey of how she took all of those traumas and created an understanding of herself, of a lesson or skill that she learned. What did it teach her? There's a story about grace. There's a story about self-confidence. There's a story about responsibility. There's a story about careful what you align with. There are all these stories and how she learned something very valuable about herself to love. And when you can learn all of these things and you can look at yourself and forgive yourself and uncover all the wisdom that your soul has, all the wisdom that you achieved in this lifetime, you get to walk forward in unconditional love of self. And think about what Jesus always said, love your neighbor as yourself. How can you love your neighbor as yourself if you don't love you? If you're judging you, if you're judging other people, you can't love your neighbor any greater than how you feel about yourself. I said this, you can't give grace to someone else if you don't have grace for yourself. You can't trust someone's word if your word isn't trustworthy, if you aren't integrity. You think someone's going to lie to you or steal from you because that's who you are. Or you dealt with some really bad karma. But bottom line is, right now, in this ascension time on Earth, it is extremely, 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 extremely important. You guys get down to the nitty-gritty. You guys, you have been releasing and releasing and releasing. We've been saying this for the last 10 years. Since 2012, 2012 is when you were all put in a blender. And then every year it was turned up. Because everything's evolving faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And Karen feels like she's on one of those rat wheels every day. And it won't stop. And the only way to have it stop is to really get centered, to be in that meditative space. Take the time, get in that void, co-create, call in the possibilities for yourself. Because here's the other distinction we want to give you that she learned from Dr. Dispenza. When you're in the light realms, when you're in 3D, when you're in 4D, you are dealing with space and time. And so your wave function is like this. How many of you have like said, I want to create such and such, and then you wait for it to arrive? There's that carrot. Wait, keep chasing the carrot. It keeps going. You're in a wave function, and time and space are in the way. You have to deal with when it's going to arrive, how it's going to arrive. But the higher you get in your vibratory field, when you go beyond light, you go to a wave particle. You're no longer in, you go to a wave instead of particle. When you're in light, you're in a particle, and the particle deals with time and space. When you're in wave, you are right there. You can create and boom, there's no time and space. It can arrive. You know people like this. Karen drives them crazy. You know people who say, I want to create blah, 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 and boom, it's right there. Like the next day, they have it. It's like they have a direct dial to Amazon on the other side. It's delivered next day. That's because they are creating from a wave. They're creating from the field of infinite possibilities. And you arrive there when you get centered, when you release the triggers, when you can let go of the hurts and the resentments. Because think about it, all of those energies are dense. They're very dense. So you're trying to play up here and you've got density here that's holding you down. It's like trying to lift the air balloon and you still got 50-pound sandbags on the bottom of the basket. You're not going to be able to lift. Okay, so very, very, very important, crucial to let go of any of those old emotions. You've heard it probably a gazillion times at this point. And this time and space in the ascension of the Aquarian age, it's critical. Look at Mother Earth. Look what Mother Earth is going through right now. All the storms and the tornadoes and the hurricanes and your earthquakes. She's releasing toxins. She's releasing the toxins that have been dumped on her for centuries. We know it's not easy, it's not fun, and it's devastating. And that's why we always, always, always ask Karen to do her mass meditations of love and light, which we're going to have her do before we time out here. It's critical every day to send love to the planet. Because remember, love is your highest vibration. When you are in a loving vibration, you're up there with particle. You're up there with instant manifestation. When you can really center and get your heart light lit up and send love to people from that heart space, from that meditative void of energy, when you can do that, you can affect the entire world. Think about the mariachi effect. You've probably all heard about the mariachi effect. If you have hundreds of people meditating in one place, thousands of people, crime goes down in the city. Wars have stopped from these meditations. When there's global meditations, it changes the frequency. The Heart Math Institute is literally calculating these. Do you know that in 9/11, on 9/11, it was the highest vibration of love that had existed on the planet before that? Because so many people around the world were praying and sending love. Powerful. It's very powerful. And you all have that ability to connect in. To connect in. We invite you to do Karen's Love and Light meditations. There's Pamela Gregory, an astrologer, who every day at 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. England time, it's 1 p.m. Central for Karen. So if you're in Eastern, it'd be 2 p.m. And for 15 minutes, people around the world meditate and send love. There are opportunities like that that you can get involved in and just be a source of love. Because student, teacher, student, you send it out, you receive it. Dr. Dispenza has coherence healing, remote healing around the world. I've been working with autistic children, and they're starting to walk and eat and talk and use a bathroom again. From remote healers sending them love from around the world. You, each of you, have that ability. You can make a difference. We know it's really hard. When we walked on the planet, we know it's very hard to think that you matter, to think that you can make a difference, to think that anything you do is going to change your world or someone else's. It's happening every day. And you are very capable of having that happen as well. You can make a difference. One of the chapters that Karen wrote is A Gift of a Smile. She was so down and out. She wasn't working. She was, it was another moment in her life when she was unemployed and not feeling well. And she was begging for assistance. And God said, go give to others. Get out of yourself. You got to go give. She's like, what do I have to give? I don't even have any money. I don't even know how to buy food right now. And he said, you have a smile that lights people up. Give the gift of a smile. Try it out. It's amazing what a gift of the smile can do for someone else. Most importantly, what it can do for you. A smile is a higher vibration. And if a smile comes from love and sincerity and compassion and kindness, it will totally shift your whole vibratory field. Your whole vibratory field. We're going to tell you another story that from the book The Choice, Dr. Edith Eva Eger, when she was in Auschwitz and someone would come to attack her, she thought that she was going to be harmed. She would, at 16, she understood this, which is amazing. She would pray that the person who was going to attack her would be lifted from wanting to hurt her. She would pray for the other person. Now think about that. Most people would pray for themselves, and they would want themselves to be, please protect me, please protect me. She prayed for the other person. And it finally hit me, hit Karen, me, I'll talk about this. So it finally hit me that what she was doing by praying for the other person, she was putting a field of energy around them, a loving vibration around them, which allowed them to step out of their ego self and their desire for power and control. And in turn, they then didn't hurt her. It's very powerful. When you create a field of love around everything. Go ahead, wise ones. We're going to tell you about Karen's car. So she has an angel hanging in her car. And one of the other lessons she's been taught is that protection, only the ego needs protection. Only the ego needs protection. You, as a light being, healthy boundary is what you need when you're protecting your heart. It's a healthy boundary, which is, love does not need protection. It needs a boundary. It needs a strong boundary that you need to maintain and keep in place. So her car has an angel, and she wraps it every day in a bubble of love, and that any energy that touches the love of that car is blessed with vibrant health and vital energy and is always kept safe. So she's creating a field of love that supports everything around her. That's how you create boundary. That's how you give out to other people, and you create your world from a place of love. You can do it every day. You can, if you're calling the phone company, if you're calling the electric company, just surround the conversation in love. It's amazing. It'll shift everything for the highest and greatest good of an outcome. That's all you need to do. There are so many ways that you can create a different field of energy that you can step forward in, and you can become, and you can play in, and you can lift yourself up within. There are so many ways. Wise ones, why don't you tell them that now? Yes, we will give you those instructions right now. So what you need to do, most importantly, we have Karen, and we'll do it as a group. We'll do it as a group. So what you want to do is you want to ground with the crystal grid of Mother Earth. Root with the unconditional love that Karen calls God. So that's like that's your center, what's also called the Buddhic column. Then you connect to your light's origination point energy, which is your creative point, and your higher self aspect. So it's sort of the cross. And it's also my logo, which I don't have a picture of in front of me. So you connect to all of that. And then we have you all just stand in your I am that I am infinite starlight radiance, radiating unconditional love to me, through me, from me, to me, through me, from me, to me, through me, from me. So when you center that way and you get into all your light aspects, that is, if you look at Karen's logo, it's a star, and we gave her that. It's the soul's light. because you're multidimensional. You're connected all over. So when you stand in your I am, that I am infinite starlight radiance, just I am that I am presence. You maybe don't want all the words that she uses. She tends to be a traditionalist. So you may just want to say, I stand in my I am that I am infinite starlight, my I am presence of light and love, right? When you do that, that grounds you in love. That grounds you in your heart center. And that connects you to all the sources of love. And then if you have it flow to you, through you, from you, you are the faucet. Because how many people in the Piscean age exhausted themselves? They gave out all their energy, then they had to go back and like spend a weekend just trying to rejuvenate, regenerate. No, you can't do that in the Aquarian age. You cannot do that. You have to have the energy flowing through you. Be the vessel that continually fills and flows. And that's the way to do it. If you stand in that heart center and that light center, you are connected in all directions and it's just flowing through you and from you. Okay. So that's how you would connect. So, and then when you're there and then you start to meditate or you set that intention for your day, set the intention. I walk in the wisdom of my wise ones every day. I'm open to hear from my wisdom of my soul. Intention's powerful. We love to teach people, and so we're going to teach all of you about intentional frameworks. So what happens when you build a house? You have a structure. You have a framework of that structure for what you are building in. And then when you have that intentional framework, everything flows within that frame. We had Karen create an intentional framework for her book. Her framework is that anyone who sees it, touches it, looks at it, hears about it, listens to it, reads it, walks away more fully loving themselves, each other, the planet, and all beings throughout the multiverses. That's basically her work as well. Her intention is to have people more fully love themselves as a result. That is the intentional framework. So everything she does is matched to that vibration and flows through that framework. So set your intention for your day, set your intention for everything you do. You will be amazed at how much easier everything flows. So once you're there, if you call in these beings and light and love and you let it flow through you, there's tremendous power in that. And it's the ABCs, it's the 1, 2, 3. So there's the basic formula. And then you just flow from that. So are you going to release baggage in the way? So Karen's talking here. So I worked with a life coach, and one of the things he said that I have kept with me very long is that as you go through life, it's like you get attacked, and here's that slap of mud, and there's that slap of mud, and this slap of mud, and you get hit as a baby, and you get yelled at as a kid, and blah 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 blah, and the kids bully you, and you end up as an adult with this huge mud hive around you. But you're still this beautiful light inside. And you just have to release all the mud that people threw at you and you held on to because you didn't know you weren't supposed to. Any other questions?
One of the things I wanted to ask, because I've been receiving a lot of the same information about how, we build these vibrational walls and we get all this density from the trauma and the issues that we have. And you've mentioned that throughout tonight and mentioned triggers and mentioned releasing. How do we actually release it? When we have trauma stuck in our mind, we can do meditations, we can do all these things, but it's so hard to completely let go of it. And even after we think we did, something comes in and triggers us again.
Right. And it's like I just wrote my chapter, one of the last chapters on self-forgiveness. And I learned this from Dr. Ager. And when I left Pennsylvania, I was a walking anger time bomb with what had happened with my family and my mother. And no matter how many times I forgave them, just something would trigger. And it was almost like anything somebody said, a nasty email, a nasty Karen meme, as something, I would just be full force anger again. And I was so exhausted by it. I kept saying, please, God, help me, help. What do I need to do to get beyond this? And then boom, I get this course, this forgiveness course. And I went through it and I wrote about this and and you change your perspective and forgive yourself for judging them. And I'm like, no, they deserve to be judged. I'm not forgiving them. Like, no way. And and then I got to the piece where you must forgive yourself for not knowing how to have it look different. And I was like, oh my God. I literally went back to every anger point. Like anytime a trauma would come up and what had happened as a child, I would go back and talk to that little girl and I would say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry this happened to us. And you did the best you could. You didn't know how to stop that from happening. You didn't have the power to stop that from happening. You didn't have the verbiage to know how to stop that from happening. And then I would do the Ho'oponopono prayer and I would just like bless my body and bless what had happened and honor myself and if something would come up and trigger me, I'd just go, doing the best I can. You did great. Doing the best you can. You did great. And I would just keep going over that and over it again and again. And each event that happened, I did the same thing. And I would go back and I would talk to that inner child. And then I got to the 18-year-old self that was still really pissed off that something my mother and sister did. And I'm like, you got to let it go because the anger kept coming back and coming. And I got coaching that said, there's something else. You need to look at what else. And I went, okay, what do you need? What do you need, 18-year-old self? What do you need? And she's like, I want an answer. I want to know why. And I want an apology. And I'm like, you're never going to get it. Give it up. You're never going to get it. You're never going to hear that. And we're not going to be angry anymore. So you need to let it go. You did the best you could. Now we know how to protect ourselves. We know how to protect our creations so that nobody else destroys them. Let it go. You just got to let it go. And ever since I did that, I find that I'm so much more peaceful. I'm so much more peaceful. And if something comes up, I just go, I do that but as a coach, you learn, as a life coach, you learn to measure someone's intensity, how often you get triggered, and how long it lasts. And I can tell you that all of those things have greatly diminished for me. Do I still get angry? I'm human. I'm human, got an ego. It's going to get triggered. But I can let it go much faster. And that's one of the last pieces of the book is to truly love yourself. You have to have self-forgiveness. You have to forgive that you didn't know how to have it look different. And know you did your best with what you had at that moment. It's easy to look at hindsight. Hindsight's super simple. Good God, if we could all had a crystal ball and when something happened, we looked in that crystal ball and said, hey, what's going to be in 10 years from now? Like, I want to look back at this. Life would be a piece of cake. We don't have those crystal balls. So we do the best we can at the moment. And as Maya Angelou, one of my favorite things, sayings of hers is when you know better, you do better. Does anybody know what annealing is? No. That's funny because a lot of people don't. My editor wanted me to let that go, and I'm like, no, I'm going to explain what it is. So when they make a sword, and I really, what the image I have is, anybody see the Pirates of the Caribbean? Right? Remember when he was making the sword, that special sword, and he would dip it in the hot metal, and then you pull it out and you pound it and 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 pound it. And then when that cures, you dip it back in again. And then you pound it and pound it and pound it. And the more that you do that, the finer the blade and the better the balance of the sword. And in essence, my life was an annealing to make me the strongest light that I can be to serve. So I'm sure that everybody on this call has had their own annealing. You've been through the hot fire of challenges in life and been pounded and pounded. But the way you become that sword, that amazing, amazing light of love, is you take every single one of those challenges and you find the silver lining. You find the hidden gem in it. There's always a hidden gem in it. Dr. Egger, with a broken back, she still has trouble breathing because it presses against her lungs. She had 4 forms of pleurisy when she got out of that. She's never been able to dance again or do gymnastics. She considers that her greatest opportunity and her greatest lesson, to learn compassion and forgiveness. Talk about annealing. Holy Hannah. As far as I'm concerned, she's the walk of Christ. She's Jewish, but she's the walk of Christ consciousness. She just is the walk of unconditional love and forgiveness. It's when you can take those trials and find their blessing. That's when you can become the most brilliant light that you can be in the world. So thank you so much. Yes, we thank you. We have loved every second of this, Greg. We are happy to be back whenever you wish us to be, and bring forth more wisdom for you. So with that, namaste.